Brothers and sisters in faith and in humanity, what's up? Peace be upon all those who genuinely seek peace and work for it. My name is MuslimGamerTV, also known as Rock, and I start the stream like anything else I would start in life, in the name of God and with thanks to Him. This stream is of my gameplay of World of Warcraft, specifically the Dragonflight expansion, so it's retail WoW, and I'm trying Dragonflight for the first time, and I'll also start with the Dracthyr. I haven't even logged into my created Dracthyr character, so yeah, I'm gonna go through everything, like give first impressions about everything, including any introductions and stuff. And when the time comes, please bear with me. Like I have quite a few add-ons in the game. I updated them, of course, and all that before the stream. But they might not be set up like correctly on a new character, like the Dracthyr character. So yeah, I might need to spend some time adjusting the interface on stream. I'll try to make it as quick as possible and just go through the game, the first few quests, and see how it goes and stuff, and also, comment and give my feedback. I will have some critique right from the start, from what I've seen in the character creation and the Dracthyr character itself. But before getting into that, I just want to say my usual introduction is that if any of what's to come on this stream would not please God, it may be partially on me, but there are things I might not have been aware of and over which I have no control, like what some game developers may include in their games, what other players say or do in multiplayer and cooperative games, and of course MMOs like World of Warcraft, and what the stream audience may say in chat. All of this is obviously out of my control. Unless the chat messages are too many within a few seconds, I eventually respond to all polite chat messages. Still, I'm sometimes distracted by the game itself, so I ask you to please be patient if I don't respond immediately. My usual disclaimer is that I am Muslim, but I do not represent Islam as a belief system or Muslims in general. I only represent myself. And unless clearly and specifically stated, or I'm talking about verifiable facts, historical or scientific, my opinions are my own, especially my mistakes. They are my own. I currently do not constantly talk or provide commentary while streaming on most of my streams, not all my streams, and perhaps not this one. So you may sometimes get hours of silent gaming from me, but occasionally on my streams, inspired by something that happens in-game or by your messages, I talk about various subjects like religion, science, health, and of course games and game design. I try to make my talks informative or at least beneficial somehow. If you choose to watch my streaming or archived streams, I hope I've prepared you very clearly for what you may expect. And by way of archived streams, I always aim to archive most of my streams, if not all, on my YouTube channel with the same name, MuslimGamerTV. If you like the sound of all this, I would appreciate a follow from you here on Twitch and a subscription to my YouTube channel, where I permanently archive most of my streams, as I said. There's also a Patreon link in the About tab of my Twitch channel and in the descriptions of most of my YouTube videos if you would like to support the stream and see more of it. I look forward to chatting with some of you sometime on stream. Thank you. Now, with my usual fairly important introduction out of the way, let's get to it. First of all, just a disclaimer, I already created a Dracthyr character just because I usually take a long time, thinking, about the details and what to pick, and especially because there's almost never like a really good choice for me personally, a choice that I find, really aesthetically pleasing or aesthetically acceptable, especially in today's world. And I'll mention some of the reasons for this in my introduction now about the game itself and the character selection and all that. So yeah, anyway, I did create a character already. So this is another server or realm, and I just wanted to make a few comments about the character creation. So the first thing that caught my attention is that here it says body 1, and you can see it's a bit wider and the head is a bit thicker. And here it says body 2. And of course, we understand from what we see here, like we cannot understand, like you don't see a difference. Like if we ignore this dude, okay, and we ignore this lady for a bit, and you just focus on the Dracthyr. You know, look at this Dracthyr, and then once the effects are gone, thank you very much. And then we look at this Dracthyr. For me personally, I don't see like many differences. Like these differences, I bet you can create the same differences in both, you know, male and female. Like for example, if we go to customize here, leg spikes, yeah, here we can have leg spikes too. Okay, so yeah, that's not the point. Yeah, you can see now that I put the spikes, you can see. So where are the differences between both Dracthyr, this one and that one? Very minimal. Yeah, the horns are different and what have you, but I'm talking about like the shape of the body, the shape of the head, general shape of the head, and all that. There's just nothing. I don't see any differences standing out. They're almost identical. And if I make changes to the horn and the color of the skin and all that, I can literally make them identical. And I believe that was the design sort of philosophy right from the start, to make them same exactly, to make the to make the Dracthyr gender, you know, fluid somehow. And I can right from the start I can see the agenda here. You know, that there is some sort of agenda, gender identity and that sort of thing. They are now implementing it in World of Warcraft and propagating it and stuff like that. And also you can see the part of the agenda in this choice of words here, body 1 and body 2. And this is not just in Blizzard's World of Warcraft. I've seen this in other games too. It started, I think the other game I saw this in recently was Cyberpunk, maybe Cyberpunk 2077. They also using the same word, and many other games. They are migrating to this choice of words, body 1 and body 2. So in the past we used to have male and female, and now we have body 1 and body 2. They're too ashamed. Like Blizzard is too ashamed to say male and female apparently. I don't understand what is going on with the gaming industry, and why do we have to sort of nurse these ideologies and these new fads in the world into our games? Why do we have to make our games get political? You know, why not just forget about real life and the politics of real life and the problems of real life, and you know, the between the liberals and conservatives and religious people and non-religious people and all that. Just, you know, why don't we forget about this and just keep games as they always were? You know, rather than pandering to minorities and pandering to political issues and what have you, just stick to what worked in gaming for you know, many years in the gaming scene. We always had male and female characters. You know, that was the choice of words, and males and females were different. You know, we could create different males and females, and I guess you can create in the customization. I can see, like for example, here. Where was the snout? Yeah, in the snout, for example, maybe, you know, this might be leaning toward male. Here, you know, this one here, this could pass for a female. This is more male. Of course, Shimada, and it's got like this little goatee, so this could pass for male. I don't know, child. Maybe also child. This is also perhaps a young one. This could be female. I don't know, female. Or this could be like neutral. I don't know, maybe neutral too. This may be male. I don't know. It's like really hard. As I said, it's very difficult. This one could male. Yeah, could be male. And then there's one here. Yeah, this one here could be female, because it's like, you know, tiny features and what have you. Not because of the word well or what have you, just because of the shape and stuff like that. You know, smaller features and stuff. Yeah, Anyway, so you could, and of course there's also the body type, so the body size. So if you pick like the thinnest here, this could be leaning toward a female. And then if you go for 4, maybe this could be maybe, you know, more male, yeah. But once again, it's not like strong enough. And if we go to this well-known now and famous post by Thunderbrush, and you know, he said, I post this out of respect for the work of Warcraft and all of the amazingly talented artists at Blizzard. With that said, the Drakthir could be a lot cooler in my book, and I agree, I fully agree, and many players fully agreed with when they saw this. Did I paint over for fun while trying to stay within the bounds they are trying to set? And yes, and this is like the original design, and you can see you can make a male like this, and everything Thunderbrush mentioned in these notes is really true. Look at this. This is indeed, you know, like the thicker neck, and you can add volume. I can show you in my character. I added a bit of volume. I don't know, like, what if Blizzard added these options later on or not, but or they were always there. But yeah, I added a little bit there because my character is male. But even I'll show you the difference. Like, even when I did my very best to make my Drakthir as masculine as possible, he's still not as cool and strong and masculine looking as this draft here. He's kind of, yeah, my Drakthir kind of leans more toward this one. This definitely looks much better than this. And why did Blizzard, you know, end up with this design? It is because of the agenda. It's because of this gender identity agenda, you know, political, you know, basically real life politics, real life sexual politics and identity politics that Blizzard is accommodating, and it's all part of, you know, the elite's agenda of propagating, spreading this culture among people. And it makes me really sad, of course, both as a Muslim, not just as a Muslim, but as a Muslim and as a gamer. It makes me sad to see these things in games, and to see that, you know, they're trying to blur the line between both sexes. And I emphasize the word sexes here, not genders, because, you know, if I use the word gender, we're gonna get into a circular, basically endless, hollow, pointless argument about identity and philosophy and what have you. So I'm going to stick to science. I'm going to stick to science and biology. I'm going to stick to the XY chromosomes and the XX chromosomes. You know, male and female. Why can't we? Why are we moving away from science and facts, scientific facts, and things that do not, you know, that do not tolerate arguments and stupid, basically, arguments? Why are we moving away from this and embracing, and instead we're embracing argumentative and unclear and undefined things, and things that we can never agree on? You know, like not even 90% of humanity is ever going to agree on, you know, gender identities and all this hogwash, basically, all these arguments, hollow arguments that will never lead to anything, because I'm not going to say 100%, but even 90% of humanity will never agree on these things. But 90% of humanity, can 90% of humanity agree on, you know, males, you know, like who males are from as a sex? Yes, we can, because it's science, it's biology. You know, you cannot argue against biology and science. Can we agree on what a female is in terms of sex, not in terms of the gender identity? Yes, we can agree. 90% of humanity can agree what a female is and what a male is from a biological, scientific perspective, the chromosomes X, Y, and XX. We can agree on this. 90% of humanity can agree on this, because there's no argument there. You know, it's biology, it's science. So why can't we just stick to this? We've always had it in games. We've always had males and, you know, male and female in games. Why are we trying to do this, basically? You know, why are we trying to pretend that there are no differences between males and females, when science and biology tell us clearly, very clearly, that there are differences? When sports are telling us very clearly, when money, you know, money talks, when money gets involved, and of course sports and sports revenues is serious business. Watching sports is very serious business. So when it comes to sports and watching sports, the people arranging these things have separated sports into men's sports and women's sports. Why? Because they understand the differences. They understand that the revenues are going to be different, and they understand the different levels of performance in physical performance. I'm talking about physical performance here, not mental or intellectual performance. My talk will never get extended to intellectual aspects, because there are almost like there are. I mean, the differences between males and females as sexes in terms of intellectual performance are very minimal, in the sense that women can tend to be more emotional than men in certain situations, not universally, not in everything, but in certain situations they can tend to be more emotional than men, and this shows in the things, in the endeavors that women choose, in the hobbies that women choose usually, and versus what men choose, and so on. They are emotionally, also we are emotionally different. But of course this is easier to argue about. But who are males and females, like in terms of sexes? You cannot argue with that. So why are we? Again, I ask. I'm not going to emphasize the part about us being emotionally and psychologically different, but I'm going to emphasize about the part about males and females being physically different, very, very different in terms of performance and in terms of build, in terms of biology. We are very different. So why are we pretending in World of Warcraft today? Why are we trying to pretend that there are no differences, when clearly there are differences, physical, biological differences between those sexes, between both sexes? And why are we shying away from in games? Why are we shying away from calling, as I said, calling males males and calling females females? Why are we suddenly using body 1 and body 2? And again, I mean, if we're going to go this route, why give the men number 1? I can pick on this if I wanted to be like pedantic. I can start picking on this too. And I guess if anyone watches this one day, they might relate it to Blizzard, to Blizzard, and then Blizzard with pseudo-feminism. They're going to make women number 1 and men number 2. But yeah, I mean, if I wanted to be stupid and pedantic about this, and believe me, some people are going to take this seriously, what I'm just saying now. Why make the male, the traditional male, look number 1? Why not females? Why not become super feminist or like hyper feminist and just make women number 1 and put men in as some sort of second-class citizen, like what you did in Blizzard? Isn't this what Blizzard did in Shadowlands? Shadowlands had basically had a few male leaders, but all of them were failures or evil. If you notice, if you look back at Shadowlands, the male leaders were either evil, scumbags, or failures, basically weak failures who shirked their responsibilities and ran away and what have you. But the female leaders in Shadowlands, all of them, even what's her name, the Horde leader, I can't remember now. I haven't played in over a year, and I don't care about these things that much. But anyway, the female leaders, they're all like strong, good characters, wise, great, nice, and even the evil female leader, the Banshee Queen, even the evil Banshee Queen isn't purely evil. In Shadowlands, she didn't turn out to be purely evil. In the end, she repented and she became nice and cute and fluffy. Why? Because she's female. Females can, like, according to the popular culture today, the pseudo-feministic culture today, females can never be wrong and they can never be, evil, and they're nice and great and what have you. And this is what Shadowlands basically, one of the things that Shadowlands propagated was this: that stupidity and uselessness and evil is from the male, side, and wisdom, gentleness and niceness and good leadership, they're all from the female side. And I challenge anyone listening to this to give me examples of the opposite. As I said, the male leaders in Shadowlands were, when they existed, they were either evil scumbags or just failures, weak and impotent and useless and shirked the responsibilities, ran away, and so on. Those were the males, the male leaders in Shadowlands. Whereas the female leaders, as I said, I already said what I said about them. So why not continue that, and then you can make the typical traditional body of a female number 1, whereas men, the typical male body, don't make it number 2, make it number 10, because based on the popular culture today, men are not even second-class citizens. They are less than canine pets. Dogs at a home have a higher status than men, at least based on popular culture today, based on the feminist and the pseudo-feminist popular culture today, and what is being said in you can see this in movies, and they're insulting men, like this Barbie this last Barbie movie. It is very condescending toward men. It basically treats men in almost like in a hateful way, in a demeaning way, and that doesn't help the feminist the feminist case or agenda, or whatever we want to call it. It doesn't help women, because that's not it's not the path to basically give women their rights. It's not by this sort of distorted or one-sided view, and it's not by what was done in Shadowlands, where there is no balance. There is no balance between good male leadership and good female leadership, evil male leadership and evil female leadership. As I said, even like the evil male leadership of Shadowlands were purely evil, and like delusional, basically. Like, even when they thought they weren't evil, you as the player, you knew that they were purely evil, but just delusional. Whereas the evil female leadership in Shadowlands, it genuinely turns out and was presented as repentant. Okay, it was purely evil, yes, at some point, but then it repented in the end. But the male evil leadership didn't repent. They were just defeated and forgotten and destroyed and forgotten, and they didn't repent. They didn't have a chance for redemption or repenting like female leadership had. So all of this, as I said, it's part of this whole agenda and new culture being propagated, this pseudo-feminist part of the agenda. And then we have this gender, this wishy-washy identity thing, where apparently there are no differences between the sexes, but there are. We have clear biological and physical differences. So I don't understand why is Blizzard getting on this train of this agenda, of propagating this agenda that promotes lack of identity. Because this gender identity thing, it is lack of identity. It's basically about people not knowing who they are. Today I think I'm Nikomimi, tomorrow maybe I'm a Kitsune, and the day after I'm a female, and then 1 year later I regret being a female and I want to be male, and so on and so forth. This sort of culture, this is being propagated, and it is being propagated because it helps the elite control the masses. Because when a mass is lost, when a mass is identity-less, when it doesn't, like when most of a population don't have an identity, they don't know who they are weak, they are easy to control, they are easy to lead. Because when someone is so lost that they don't know their identity, someone is so lost that they don't know who they are, this person is a ripe sheep. It's a very ready sheep. Because it doesn't know who it is. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that you as an elite can tell it who it is. If you don't know who you are, okay, then you need someone to tell you who you are. Who's going to tell you who you are? The elite are going to tell you who you are. The leaders, the politicians, the role models, some sort of leadership. And in today's world, this leadership usually are the people with the money, the people with the agendas, the people with their own motives. These are the people, with power in today's world, who will tell you who you are if you don't know who you are. So And Blizzard is not just, I mean, it's a company, yeah, but as we all know, it's a corporation with a lot of money, a lot of executives. Its executives belong to the elite, and the elite wants you to be lost, identity less, weak, and nice and ripe for being a sheep, to lead, to tell. So you don't know who you are. You don't know if you're male or female, or if you're like from a gender perspective. But then the elite are going to tell you. The elite are going to send you somewhere to an expert or specialist, quote unquote, and this specialist will tell you because you don't know who you are. So you need someone to tell you who you are, and this someone, as I said, is going to be sent from the elite, from the leaders, from the politicians. They're going to tell you who you are and teach you who to be. So yeah, this is why that we have this in games nowadays. This, as I said, this genderless abomination, basically, where there is no difference. This is the same as this. Yes, there are differences here on the right side, because the Western people are still not ready for the right side to be also the same. They're still not ready. They're still waiting a few, but don't worry. In a few years, we're going to make the right side here even the same. So now you can see the differences, but yeah, in a few years you won't see any difference. So we're starting with the Drakthir version, basically making them identical, but later on they're going to be both the same. And then you also have this thing here. Yeah, the eye. Another thing I wanted to mention, the eyesight part. What is this? Who exactly asked for this? I mean, my question is to Blizzard and anyone listening in games nowadays. Who exactly? And I think Cyberpunk also has the same setting here. Who asked for this? Seriously, I'm asking Blizzard. Who asked for this? Who asked to be blind in one eye? Why implement this? How many? I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure that Blizzard has the statistics, and they know very well how the percentage of players who are using this setting here to basically be blind in one eye. So this eye would be functional, and this eye is like this, blind. They know exactly how many players are going for this look, and I am willing to bet. But I mean, Muslims do not bet, but it's just a metaphorical expression. I'm willing to bet that it won't be more than 1% of the whole player base. And if I'm wrong, it's probably going to be maximum 5%. 5% of the whole player base would be using this. And who asked for it? 0.1% maybe would ever ask for such a setting in the looks, basically making one eye blind. So my question is, who asked for this? And why do I ask that question? Because we Muslims know something about this look. When one eye is different from the other like this, we know something about that. And what do we know? Let me show you what we know. This is the look of the Antichrist. We Muslims know this. The Antichrist, this is something I don't want to talk about for too long now, but let me just show you examples. Look at this. One eye, it may be functional, and then the other eye is blind or doesn't see. This is New World. Look at this look. This is also from Warhammer 40,000. You can see this look. Okay, this is Corvus or Chorus or whatever it is. You can see the same look. One eye healthy, working, and the other eye doesn't work. Dishonored. You see that? One eye healthy, works, the other eye doesn't work. Dishonored again. One eye human, works, the other eye inhuman, doesn't work, or works in a non-human way. Melina of Elden Ring, one eye, and look at this other eye, has some bat wing or something on it. Made my skin crawl the very first time I saw this, but gamers are just gulping it up. This is another not so famous, or I mean it's a mostly positive game, but it's also release date is the 20th of September 2022, so not so old, just last year. called Solstice, and as you can see the same look. The protagonist is half monster, half human. And look at this, one eye works and the other eye is like closed or doesn't work. Same thing with this game, I can't remember now. You know, there will be a lot of games here. See, one human eye, the other eye, the same look. See, this is also Warzone, Cold Ops, Cold War. One human eye, the other doesn't work. Is all this so my question, guys, I mean, is all this a coincidence? I mean, seriously, all these games, is this a coincidence? Is this some sort of fashion, or is this intentional? I mean, anyone with a brain would know the answer, and I hope that most of the people who will view this have brains. Look at this, another same thing. So this is in Cold War, Call of Duty Cold War. One eye. Again, same game, Call of Duty Cold War. One human eye, the other eye is different. Why? Over and over and over again. And these people are not evil. Look at this. All of these people, they are not evil, guys, okay? Those, I don't know, maybe this, I don't know if this is evil or not. And I didn't play New World. I don't care about New World. But these people are not evil. Those are heroes, protagonists. They're good people, okay? According to the games, at least. Same thing. This is one of the characters you can use in the game. Village, Resident Evil. Look, one eye open, maybe works, and the other eye is closed. The same exact look. Look at this same thing. Black Panther. One eye, human, the other eye is closed, dark. Look at this. Far Cry 6 protagonist, Danny Royas. One human eye, and the other has this look. Even what's this? The Absolver. Even Absolver. One eye kind of looks normal in the mask, and the other eye is messed up, broken in the mask. Another show in Arabic. This is at the end, An-Nihaya. Some sort of TV show in an Arabic TV show in the Arab world. This is again a human eye, normal one, and like a sort of a Terminator eye. And you can see the Terminator look here. Venom, same thing. Half human, half beast. One human eye, and the other is a beast's or monster's eye. Terminator, same look. You can see that now. Terminator again, same look. And then you can see some celebrities here covering one eye. One eye is closed and the other is open, and with the pyramid, the Freemasonic look. Here's another old celebrity from an old song. Give me a sign. One eye open and the other eye is either closed or surrounded by the triangle. And here it is, the same sign again. Here it is, the same sign. Here it is. This one is one eye is open, the other eye is closed, and this time is completely closed. They're blocked. But you can see sometimes they also don't block it. They look through it. So one eye is like normal and the other eye is in here. And you can see here, same sign. And then you can see other games have this God Fall and God's Will Fall. Look at this. These games, like the release dates are also like very close. When was this released? This was released in the fourth quarter of 2020, God Fall. And just 1 month, almost 1 month afterward, God's Will Fall. Is this a coincidence? Seriously, I'm really serious here. Just a few, 1, 2, or 3 months max after God Fall, we get another game called God's Will Fall. What is this? And then, blaming the gods. This was like a few also screenshots I got from the Divinity Original Sin 2. A few screenshots of a conversation where basically, blaming gods, showing, or deities, like showing that deities are evil, bad, boo-hoo. We're gonna blame, the deities. We're gonna blame. Basically, this is a, this is about blaming God for our problems. So humans create problems and misery in the world, and they want to blame God for all the problems and misery in the world. Why? Because God is supposed to be, because God is all-powerful, and according to them, He's supposed to change things. Because He's all-powerful, He should just, with the flick of a, finger, make all our problems go away. So basically, we create viruses, we create problems, we create war, we create misery in the world, but then we want, with our free will that God gave us, free will, and then we want God to basically correct our mistakes. And then, you know what? If God intervened, we will have so many humans going around and saying, oh God, why did you intervene? You made our free will useless. So you gave us free will, you deceived us, God. They will, because some people are messed up like that. They will never be happy. Some humans are never going to be happy with God. Why? Because as I said, if God gives them free will and allows them to do whatever they want, okay, so they mess up the world and create a lot of evil. All right, they say, oh no, God is not merciful enough. He's letting all this war happen. He's letting all these viruses, affect us and what have you. And we created all this with our own, experiments, with our own violence, with our own hatred, with our own, behavior and choices. We created the misery in the world. And we want God to, magically solve all the problems that we created with our free will. And if God intervenes, just with a flick of a mouse, with miracles and magically like this, makes all our problems go away, correcting our mistakes, we will have some people going back to God and saying, oh God, you gave us free will, but then, whenever we made any mistakes, you reversed the effects. So you made our free will pointless. Why didn't you let us learn from our mistakes? I swear to you, brothers and sisters, you will have so many humans saying this about God and saying this to God. If God intervenes and corrects every little mistake that humans do, and all the evil that humans commit, if God intervenes and corrects them, you will have people saying this about God and to God. See, why did you intervene, God? Why didn't you let us learn from our mistakes? You made our free will pointless. You said you have free will, you can do whatever you want, but every time we made mistakes, you didn't let us learn from our mistakes. You didn't let us correct our mistakes. You intervened and you magically, just like that, corrected or reversed the effects of our evil. You should have let us learn from our mistakes, O Lord. We will have people saying this about God and to God. So, this is the reality, brothers and sisters. Blaming God for our problems, I just answered this problem. And then all the signs that I showed, I'm just, for people with brains, for people who can see and reason, I'm just telling you, are all these signs, are all these things a coincidence? Really? All of this? All these games? All of it is just a coincidence? Or is it intentional? Or is this really the elite basically preparing the world to love the Antichrist, that whom we know will have, because here our prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said in an authentic hadith, which is a hadith is a saying by the prophet, he said, what can translate to, because this is a translation from Arabic, of course, one day the messenger, this is as narrated by Ibn Umar, one of the companions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said, one day the messenger, he said, what can translate to, from Arabic to English this way, one day the messenger of God, peace be upon him, mentioned Al-Masih al-Dajjal, the Antichrist, the basically, Al-Masih al-Dajjal means the false Messiah, or the charlatan Messiah, also known even in Islam and in English, also known as the Antichrist, in the presence of the people, and said, verily, God is not one-eyed, but Al-Masih al-Dajjal, the false Messiah, is blind in the right eye, which looks like a swollen grape. This is a saying by Prophet Muhammad from more than 1,400 years ago. And the source is Al-Bukhari and Muslim. These are the most authentic books of the sayings of the Prophet in Islam. Of course, there are a lot of hadith or sayings of the Prophet, false sayings being propagated on the internet, like, Islamophobes and people who hate Islam or spread lies about Islam. They say that, oh, the Prophet said this and did that, but they are spreading lies. But this hadith here is from the two most trusted books about the sayings of the Prophet are called Al-Bukhari and Muslim. These two books are very authentic. Any hadith that you find them in these books is 100% authentic. We, like all true educated Muslims, will accept those hadith as authentic and came from the Prophet. Even if they sound strange, and even if you challenge us with one that doesn't sound very realistic to you, it doesn't matter. We accept them all as they came from the Prophet. And this is one of the many hadith that you can see the truth of it in today's world. One-eyed, and one eye, and he described it this way. He is blind in the right eye, which looks like a swollen grape. And you can see here a lot of red eyes, a swollen grape. But in any case, the point is that one eye is blind. And you can see the redness and swollen grape. So yeah. So this is why, brothers and sisters, in the game, if we now get back to the game, this is why we have this in games today. This is why I said, who asked for this? Who exactly ever asked gaming companies, oh, please, let us be blind. Let our protagonist be blind in one eye. We want to be blind in one eye. Who asked for this? I dare any company show real statistics, real authentic statistics about who requested such a feature. What's the percentage of players that ever requested this? Nobody. Statistically speaking, nobody requested this. Nobody wanted this. Statistically speaking. And when I say statistically speaking, I mean, look at the like the total number of players in any game, and then look at the percentage that asked for this. It's nothing. Comparatively or relatively speaking, it's nothing. It's an insignificant, negligible percentage that would ever ask for such a disgusting, ugly feature. Being blind in one eye. Who wants to be blind in one eye? Who wants to be such a creature? Almost nobody. But, companies put these things in games. Why? Because, as I said, because they want you to relate to this look. They want you to relate to the look of the Antichrist. They want you to relate to the look of the Dajjal, the false Messiah, who's going to come with miracles. We know, we Muslims know that the false Messiah, the Dajjal, the Antichrist, is going to come with miracles. He's going to come and do miracles in front of, like real miracles at the time. We don't know exactly how, but we know that he will make miracles. We make miracles come true or happen in front of people's eyes. Whether he does this with technology, with some other force, we don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it. And he's going to be, as I said, blind in one eye. And he's going to have this look. We know all this from the Prophet, because the Prophet, our Prophet, peace be upon him, he prophesied this. He said he will come and he will do this and he will look like that and so on and so forth. That hadith I mentioned, the translation of, is just one hadith. We have several other hadiths that focus on the Antichrist, how he looks like, what he's going to do, the events that will accompany him, and so on. So we know that it's going to come with miracles, as I said. And in the beginning, he will set himself as the king of the world, and then once he's accepted as the king, he will claim himself to be the Lord. He will claim himself to be God, basically, a deity. And he will be accepted by the majority of people of the time. He will be accepted. So you would do well for yourself and your family to be one of the few who listen to what I said and remember these signs that I showed you in that page here. Remember those signs. And keep in mind, as I said, even with the numbers, ask yourself why. Why would game companies put this look in games, or why would they why would they add this feature? Who asked for it? Who wanted it? Almost no one. And who's using it? You will find that very, very, very few, a negligible percentage of players ever use these features. Because no one finds this beautiful. No one finds this aesthetically pleasing. To have a visible blind eye, to have one blind eye that you can see how blind it is. Almost nobody finds that aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, this is another thing I wanted to comment on. So this gender issue is the first thing that really grabbed my attention, and then this eye thing, this disgusting, horrible eye thing. Yeah, that's it. And of course, the design. So one of the reasons we reached this design is, this design here, is that instead of something like that, is because of as I said, the gender fluid agenda that Blizzard has bought into and started propagating with the rest of the band. Got on the same bandwagon of this agenda. And as you can see, this agenda is leading to this ugliness in our games. Instead of having something like this, powerful, strong, at least when it comes to the male, to the male protagonists, or the male side of the gender, we don't have this. Why don't we have male Drakthir looking like this? It's because of this agenda here on the left, the agenda of gender fluid or genderless and identity-less creatures. And as I said, the point of not knowing who you are, or not having a real identity or a fixed gender, the point is to be lost and to be nice and ready sheep, ready to be led. And who will lead you? The people who have the money, and the people who can afford to add pointless features like this feature here. The people who can afford this, to waste money on this, or it's not waste money, they are investing in the Antichrist. But yeah, who will lead? Who's going to tell you who you are? Who's going to help guide you like the sheep you become if you don't know who you are, and if you don't have a gender, and if you don't have an identity? Who's going to guide you? Is the people who have the money for all this. The people who have the money to propagate certain agendas and and so on and so forth. So that was the first impression, as I said, and some of the observations that I noticed is how these real life politics are invading games very heavily nowadays, and how the even preparing for the Antichrist or glamorizing the Antichrist look is also invading games, and it is invading World of Warcraft. And it makes me sad because I'm a veteran World of Warcraft player. I have good memories in World of Warcraft. And it was like back when it was like half innocent. Of course, it was never innocent. It was always full of paganism and things like that. But it wasn't as messed up as it is today. Where we don't have genders, we have body 1 and body 2, or we don't have like sexes. Let's put it like let's put it this way, because gender is a debatable thing in today's world. So let's say sexes, where we don't have like sexes, we have body 1 and body 2. What sex is body 1? Oh, who knows? We don't know. No, actually, science and biology knows. This sex is female according to science and biology, and this sex is male according to science and biology. Now, of course, gender and identity is a different thing, and we can sit and debate about this for hours, and the elite are going to be very happy about our pointless, futile arguments, because we're wasting our life and time on useless trash, while they're collecting more money and they're leading the identity-less and gender-less population or masses, basically. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about about the character creation. And now I'll show you. So this is the character that I ended up with. I tried, as I said, to make him as masculine and as possible, rugged as rugged and masculine as possible. So I gave him, this armor here at the feet and also at the hands. I also don't like this the natural claws, the look of the claws. So I was more than happy to cover the claws with this armor, talon like armor, and as you can see, I also gave him scales here to make his neck a bit thicker. But look at this. Take a good look at his look, and even look at the thickness of his neck. Even with these scales, like I added this, okay, like in the character creation screen. So look at this, and then look back at that, and you can clearly see that he's still not as his neck and his head is still not as masculine and strong and imposing as this look. This look is much better, and it could have been even better, because you can see here Thunderbrush. What did he say in the end? He said, did a paint over for fun while trying to stay within the quote bounds unquote that they are trying to set. So basically Thunderbrush designed this while being very, or let's say severely. So he designed this while being severely limited by the bounds that Blizzard is trying to set. So he is bound, like his creativity is basically handcuffed in a way, you know, like it's pulled back. His creativity is limited. He cannot have limitless creativity. Why? Because there are certain bounds that Blizzard wants to, you know, adhere to. And what bounds? What are these boundaries? They are the boundaries of the agenda that I was talking about. You know, the identity-less, the gender-less agenda that they're trying to propagate and spread among gamers and the general population. But if we actually wanted to maximize the masculine look for the male part of the Drakthir, imagine what the male Drakthir would have looked like. Imagine the how imposing, how strong they would have looked if they gave artists, if they gave concept artists basically creative freedom, create a really masculine, strong, you know, dragon-like humanoid creature for us. Oh, you know, concept artist. Imagine what they could have come up with instead of this abomination here, this genderless abomination here. This is what you know, someone from outside Blizzard came up with for fun, while just, you know, scribbling for fun, you know, and trying to stick to the bounds. Imagine if there were no bounds. Imagine if we could create something as masculine as possible. And when it came to the female side of the Drakthir race, also imagine someone who didn't want to make the females look equal to the males. And when I say equal here, I'm not talking about the value. I'm talking about the look, the physical look. What kind of man? What kind of man? I mean, what kind of straight man wants to marry a woman who looks like a man? I'm talking about straight men specifically. Do straight men want to marry women who look like men? Of course not. Of course not. Straight men want women who look like women. So the more feminine you would make the female Drakthir, the more attractive they will be to both straight men, who are the majority of men, and straight women, who are the majority of women. So, you know, the majority of your audience, imagine, this is another thing about Blizzard. They are so detached from what the player base, from what their customers want, that they're shoving their agenda down our throat. They are shoving their agenda down our throat. You know, this is basically what this is like. This is what you have. You know, like, take this, and if you don't like it, don't play our games. That's like how arrogant Blizzard executives have become. They have become so arrogant. They're so overconfident in their success, in their, you know, past success, that they barely really want to listen. They pretend that they are listening. They pretend that they want to implement. They pretend that they want to give the majority of their customers what they want, but they don't. They give only just enough. They give just enough to, you know, to the player base, just enough to basically keep them hooked and what have you. But then the rest, they apply their own agenda. They have their own agenda, and they have their own objectives and things that they want to achieve, and they stick to this agenda with just enough from what we want, from what the majority of their customers want. And what do the majority? I'm not talking about. I'm not going to say 100%. Of course, not 100% of WoW players are straight. Some of them are sexually non-straight. But I'm talking about the majority. The majority. Most, just, you know, from a democratic perspective, most of your player base is going to be straight, because that's how it works in the general population. Most of the general population all over the world are straight. So most of your population is straight. So, and straight men, as I said, straight men are attracted to feminine women, and straight women are attracted to masculine men. Most. I'm not saying all. Once again, I emphasize, I'm not saying all. I'm saying most. Most of them. So imagine ignoring what the majority of your customers want, which is, as I said, men want to look like men. Like male players are gonna look. I as a male player, I don't want to look like this. I would rather not look like this if I'm playing a Dragonflight. No, I would like to even look more masculine, more badass than this. I would like a Dragonflight that looks even more masculine, more imposing, thicker, stronger. I would like that as a straight male player. And I know for a fact that most, not all, but most straight female players, they are going to want to look cuter. They want to look, feminine, and still, still agile and strong, and can, do their spells in game and so on. But, a balance, some sort of balance between this agility and just enough physical strength with, femininity, beauty, and what have you. And they don't want to look. They don't want their protagonists to look exactly the same to have the same exact look as male protagonists. They don't want that. Most straight women don't want this, and you can see, how. You can see what they want by the way they carry themselves, by the way they dress, by the way they carry themselves. Most of them, they don't dress like men, they dress like women. So yeah, imagine, ignoring all this and just pandering to minorities and minority issues and politics and real life hogwash, real life problems and arguments and so on. And and as I said, and the Antichrist. It is sad. But anyway, these are my thoughts. But yeah, I tried as much as possible, as you can see, to make him like imposing and strong and masculine, while not sacrificing, some sort of aesthetically semi-pleasing looks for the face and the head. And I can't. I don't know why they're not showing the human or the elf, version of him, but hopefully I can show you in game. So now, with all that out of the way, let's start playing and see what we have in store. As I said, as you can see, there's no location here, so I have never even logged into this character before. I don't know what to expect, and anyway, I talked for a long time, an hour now. So I hope that I'm not going to talk as much later on. I'll play a bit more than I'm talking, hopefully.
Talent to the fore!
On the flank! Move! Heaven scales! Fall back!
Sleep.
Hello. Hello. Okay, I was just testing some stuff, of course. Yeah, before that, as you were able to see, hopefully, I was working on the interface, and thankfully, it didn't take too. I mean, I was afraid it would take even longer than this, but yeah, thankfully it went fairly smoothly, and I think fast enough, given that I'm returning to the game after more than a year of quitting and or, more than a year of a break. And yeah, and this was a character I never even logged into, so I am pleasantly surprised by how fast I was able to just like sort out the interface. I mean, and then I was just testing the microphone too. I don't want to forget it, unmuted and say anything silly while on stream. So yeah, I started basically. I activated now push to talk. So I'll have to hold down a key to talk from now on. At least if until I get to a point where I just wanna sit back and keep talking for a while about something. But I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. Maybe yes. Maybe no. I don't know. But anyway, I'll start playing now and exploring and see what the game has. I was using the keyboard layout for the game and forgot that that layout the layout was done like as years ago. So I forgot that it doesn't have the same, like the key I used for push to talk is different anyway. Sorted it out. So awaken, Drakthir. Only flashes of memory remain as you shake off what feels like an endless sleep. The Drakthir before you is unresponsive, frozen in place by some unknown magic. Sense that within you lies the power to break your ally free. There may be others within the crash who are suspended in this stasis. It is your duty to awaken them. Awaken the other Drakthir. You will learn the following: disintegrate. Tear into an enemy with a blast of blow magic, inflicting spell frost damage over 2.5 seconds and slowing their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds.
What? Evoker, what has happened? Who did this to us? Something is very wrong here. We must find our wingmates. This way!
The Drakthir are breaking free. Contain them.
I remember obeying an order.
In here, Evoker.
There's still there's still players like me playing Drakthir maybe for the first time. Who knows? Interesting.
How long were we held in stasis?
A very long time, by the look of our creche.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention is that this design, most of us at least, like especially her, Dervishian, and is it even him? I don't know if it's a him or her. Who knows? But yeah, they kind of they kind of look like lizards, you know? They have this lizardy look about them, you know? What about this one? Yeah, freaking lizard. Definitely lizard. And in my case, I don't know. Yeah, I'm quite close. Like, even. Hold on. Yeah, so I was saying that even with this look that I went for, it still has a very lizardy look about him, unfortunately. Very, very lizardy. Whereas if we look back at this, I mean, yeah, this is definitely not a lizard. Look at this. I mean, this is another thing, another issue. Generally speaking, if you look at this design here, this is definitely not a lizard. This this looks like a dragon, you know, like it has this identity. There's a certain identity about it. You feel like this must be a dragon, or you know, something related to a dragon. Whereas this kind of looks like a lizard or a raptor. It's much closer to a raptor than a dragon, at least. This is very, very close to a dragon. This is very, very close to a raptor. And our case here, all of us are, yes, all of us are quite close to raptors and lizards. Then dragons. I don't know. I don't see any dragons here. This is just lizard and raptors, unfortunately. Yeah. Another very, very unfortunate price to pay. Because of the freaking gender identity agenda invading our games, unfortunately. We're playing with lizards and raptors instead of dragons.
My head. All right. We need to get our bearings. We are bound by duty.
As Arathel listens to your report, my memories are as broken as yours, Rockborn, but we cannot dwell on that now. We need to assess and make a plan. You will learn the following. Disintegrate. Tear into an enemy with a blast of blue magic inflicting spell frost damage over 2.5 seconds and slowing their movement. Oh, this is what I read before.
Stay true to your land.
Essence is a resource used for spells such as Disintegrate. It recovers naturally over time. Gear up. Hostiles have invaded. Our people have been confined in magical stasis, and our crash seems to be collapsing. This is why we train, Rockborn. When in doubt, fall back to what you know. First things first, weapons, armor, supplies. Gather what you can, find, and get equipped while I marshal our forces. Then we will locate the Earth Warder. Surely, Neltharion can provide the answers we seek. Acquire weapons, armor, and supplies.
Fair skies and strong winds to you.
Let us begin.
Arcane Guardians, those constructs patrolling the crash are not animated by the Earth Warder's magic. Your vision narrows her eyes. We cannot allow there to be enemies in our midst. Destroy them to clear our path forward. Defeat 4 Guardians or constructs.
Fair sky.
Gear up, Evoker. Then we rendezvous with the Earth Warder.
Neltharion can explain what has happened. I am certain of it.
Only the finest goods.
Dude, you can't even see in front of you. Trying to sell me goods.
Will that be all?
Ah, treasure.
If they will not sleep, then they must be destroyed.
Ah, treasure. What? What is this? What am I supposed to do with this?
Respect must be earned. Looking for wares? A pleasure doing business.
What the hell is this? I don't even know what I mean. This doesn't look like a ration that I'm collecting. I don't know what to do with this. Fucking hell. What?
The Drakthir are relics of a forgotten past. They have no place in Azeroth.
Why does it have to be so hard, man? I just want to move it. I don't know why it is yellow. Like these are white. That one is yellow for some reason. Ah, yellow means it's active. But I can move these, yeah. For some reason That's so weird, man. For some reason I can't move this. Yeah, I took a quick look on the Discord of the Move Any add-on, and it may be that basically, in case this helps anyone else. So basically, after, not before, but after going into the Move Any add-on options, and click and basically ticking the talking head dialog and saving and reloading the UI. After all these steps, I think that the talking head frame needs to pop up once. So I'm gonna wait a bit more until this boss or dude talks again, and then I'll try to move it again. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, then I'll have to ask, what's going on.
The Drakthir are relics of a forgotten past. They have no place in Azeroth.
I think he talked, didn't he? I think he talked, but I still can't move it, unfortunately. Whereas I can move casting bar after clicking it. This is bizarre, man. I'm gonna have to report this on the Discord.
The Drakthea, stand ready. Diplomacy first.
What is your report? The Drakthea will find a place in this world. Stand proud. Stay true to your word.
Cinderthresh! Can you bring down this barrier?
Zuri! Just the reinforcements I needed.
Have you found the Earth Warder?
No, he is not in this chamber. But there is a...
A different dragon.
Come forth, loyal servants of Malagos. Show no mercy to these aberrations.
Well, this should be fun.
I wanna fly. I don't wanna hover, I wanna fly like them. Why can't I fly? Man.
What do you remember, Zuri? Before the stasis?
Only fragments. A battle against a great foe. We claimed victory, I think. Though I fear we paid a terrible price for it.
We will find answers. But first, we need to get our people out of here.
By wing or by talon, we will see it done.
Salamander. Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of cuteness to it, but of course it's... all lizards are disgusting, at least as far as I'm concerned.
What news?
Ah, living flame. That's nice. So it can deal fire damage to an enemy or heal an ally. That's neat.
There's much to be done.
Reporting for duty.
So many possibilities.
Obey the will of the Spellweaver!
Kind will be locked away.
That dragon is going to collapse our only way out! We are the shield of the Drakthir. The obsidian warders stand proud.
Here to spar. Anything for an ally.
We were trained to defend dragons, not to fight them. This feels wrong.
The Pizagos has left us no choice, Surrey. He means to destroy us. So today, we fight for each other. For all Drakthir.
Well said, my friend.
Defy the will of Malagos? You are out of time.
Go! The crash is collapsing!
The boring dad's club. Oh my god, what a name. What a oh my god. Top Top dad of the boring dads club invites me to the boring dads club. What if I'm not a boring dad, dude? Oh my god. How hilarious is that? Boring dad. It's funny. It's funny. Oh my god. I'm glad I'm censoring. I am glad, guys, I'm censoring in-game chat. I mean, it's a whisper, so you know, I'll respect his privacy, and I won't read it. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing. Anyway, it's just. I mean, there's nothing like super bad about it or anything. You know, it's just a normal. It's just not normal, but sort of very similar. Like, yeah. What are they like? Sort of those guild invitation messages. Expected, you know, expected. Yeah, kind of semi-expected rhetoric that you read or hear in these random guild invitations. But yeah, it's just the name and I mean the guy's name and the name of the guild. Just funny.
Our training grounds are completely overgrown. We must have been in stasis for a very, very long time.
Cut the chatter, Kodethi. Hostiles could be lurking. Evoker, time to get those skills sharpened. You call that a uniform? You have your orders. Let's get back to training.
What is your report? Fair beacon pulses with magic. It may have been placed there to contain us, or to send a signal.
What is the situation?
I am ready. What do you need? You have your orders.
We are the shield of the Drakthir.
We have incoming!
Die, Drakthir!
Hemberthal!
Thank the Earth Warder. Her wisdom is needed.
There is much to be done. Stay true.
It is good to see you, Emberthal. But where is your Wern?
I awakened. The rest of my Drakthir did not.
May their names be ever remembered.
May their names be ever remembered.
Any new discoveries? Remain steadfast. Let us begin. Diplomacy first.
The odds favor us. Back to my calculations. Shosh, I am thinking.
Any new discoveries? Remain steadfast. The Drakthea, stand ready. Fair skies and strong winds, friend. Fair skies and strong winds, Evoker.
I am ready to serve. Fair skies and strong winds. Serve with Dervishian, scout the creche of the Ebon Scales. Syndra Thresh and the Evoker will seek the healing wings. Fly with caution, my friends. Dragons are watching.
Right, guys. I think I'll end. It's getting late here in the EU, so I'll end this stream here and continue, God willing, tomorrow, and see, you know, if I have anything else to say. But I talked a lot, talked for an hour today at the beginning of the stream about the character creation and the gender and identity issues affecting the looks of our protagonists in games now, and you know, giving us protagonists that could have looked much better, much more badass, but oh well. Many things are getting worse in the world today, unfortunately. The food quality, the quality of services, generally speaking. Many things are deteriorating, especially after the COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine. The inflation that came after many parts of the world. I think the whole world is suffering economically, unfortunately, and here in Europe we really all are feeling it, the inflation, and most of the prices have increased, you know, crazy increases. Even essentials have sometimes doubled, anywhere, you know, from doubling the price to quadrupling and even more for certain services like electricity bills and stuff. And at the same time, as I said, the quality of many services, public services and even private services, are getting worse. Like, for example, even here where I live in a country in the EU where we're supposed to have very high quality internet services, but things aren't as they used to be years ago. The quality, you know, the connection speed, the latency, the dependability of the services. Yeah, I was looking at the latency. It's not so bad. I guess 60 ms is acceptable, but it used to be much worse in Diablo 4. I don't know why. It's very strange. But yeah, this is much more acceptable. Maybe it has to do with the game itself, Diablo 4. I don't know. I stopped playing after I found out that characters in Diablo 4, the seasonal characters, they get moved to the so-called eternal, realm or whatever we can call it of the game, and then that's it. They stay there forever. You can never move them to the next seasons. You have to level from 1 for every new season. Apparently, Diablo fans gotten used to this already and stuff, but I didn't know this. I was shocked. And then I felt like all the classes, because I leveled all the classes up to uh, tier 4. I don't know like how many people like would be listening to this would be familiar with Diablo 4, but Diablo 4 has like 4, currently at least, has 4 world tiers. So like basically tier 1 is supposed to be the easiest, and then tier 2 is like veteran, and it's a bit more difficult. And then I can't remember what the name of the third tier is, but there's tier 3, and that is significantly harder than tier 2. And then finally there's tier 4, which is called Torment. And tier 4 is, I think, also significantly harder than tier 3. So all my characters, like I basically leveled all classes in Diablo 4 up to the level where they can survive in tier 4, the hardest tier of the game. So yeah, they're like, I think all of them are like level 80 plus, and the maximum is, or the level cap is 100. So like 4/5, I'm like 4/5 of the way to level cap in all classes, in all 5 classes of Diablo 4. And then I discovered, like, basically, unfortunately, all the characters are, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, even if I created them in the Eternal Realm, they will end up there anyway. That's the point. So yeah, I didn't know this. If I knew this, I definitely wouldn't have, leveled them so high. I was experimenting. I was thinking that, I can put some time into leveling all classes. Why not? Because I'm thinking, it's similar to World of Warcraft. Your characters stay, and you can always get back to them. So yeah, I leveled them high, and part of it was to test. I wanted to test like all the classes, see how they perform, and not just in the lower levels, but also in these high levels, the high tiers. I wanted to see the performance of all classes in difficult content and so on. So this is why I leveled. This is why I did what I did, but I had no idea that basically all those characters are going to get, like, once the season ends in the end of January, all those characters will end up in the so-called Eternal Realm, which is separate from all seasons, and then the new season begins. Season 3 begins, and all those characters that I've leveled in season 2, they stay in the so-called Eternal Realm or whatever, and they can never be moved to any future season, to season 3, 4, or whatever. Apparently they can never be moved to any of the future seasons. And that's it. I was like, oh my god, what a waste of life. Just living all these classes for nothing. Because yeah. So yeah, I quit basically. I stopped after finding this out. I was so annoyed and disappointed. And also, I did like my best gearing up a popular build for the sorcerer, even for like for survivability. Like I got it. I geared them up for survivability with balance with some DPS, and I couldn't do even tier 1 of the new dungeon, even though I am able to do like the highest tiers of the nightmare of the difficult dungeons, kind of like mythic dungeons in World of Warcraft. So these nightmare dungeons in Diablo 4, I'm able to solo the highest tiers, like from tier 90 to my maximum is tier 100. I'm able to solo these tiers from 90 to 100, which are the maximum. I don't get one shot, anymore. At least my motivation to gear my sorcerer for survivability was because I got one shot by trash mobs in these highest tiers from tier 90 to 100. So I started building my character in a different way and making him sturdier and stuff. And despite all my efforts, yeah, I was able to run the tier 90 to 100 just fine, but then the the latest dungeon, end game dungeon that they added, which is called the Abattoir of Zir, I couldn't even do tier 1 of it. I was getting one shot by both trash mobs and by the final bosses, or like three so-called blood seekers or like vampires and stuff. I getting yeah, I'm not just getting one shot by them, but even by trash mobs sometimes, but not like trash elite trash mobs. But yeah, getting one shot by a group of elites can one shot me and stuff, and I was like, oh my god. I'm so close to capping the armor in Diablo, like my armor, as in the physical damage reduction. I'm almost near cap. Not I am not capped, but I'm very close to cap. So I was like, what else does like Blizzard want from me, or especially want from a sorcerer? You know, kind of like the mage in World of Warcraft. I mean, what else do you want from a mage or a sorcerer than being close, very, very close to the level cap or the cap of physical damage reduction, the armor? I mean, what else do you want from such a class to let them somehow be able to survive? And I also like have barriers, something called barriers and stuff like that, kind of like, you know, a non-physical shield that absorbs all kinds of damage, kind of like the bubbles, the kind of like the priest bubble. It's not like it doesn't make you invulnerable, but it makes you like, you know, absorb a lot of damage. So yeah, despite all of this, yeah, still getting one shot by elites in the newest dungeon and the final three bosses. So this plus what I found out about the seasons just made me feel like really disappointed and frustrated, and I just quit the game after playing it for like every day since I started playing. I think 1 month and a half ago or something. I was playing it non-stop every day for hours and hours, and all of a sudden I just stopped after hearing this news and experiencing this new dungeon, despite preparing, you know, gearing up like at a very acceptable level. Experiencing that, I was like, man, this is just ridiculous. Blizzard is like almost trolling, you know, with this new, like basically forcing you to level up a new character, like from the beginning every new season. I don't know why. The thing is, there isn't enough content. Like the reason also I am annoyed is that there isn't enough content in the new in the season to let you reach level cap. There isn't. Like you will end up basically grinding the same exact dungeons over and over again. I mean, if every season came with enough content that you can basically reach level cap with the season's new fresh content, maybe that would have made sense, you know, because you're like experiencing a new story, a new like full story, long story. Every new season has like this new story and stuff, and you can experience this new story all the way to level cap. Yeah, okay, that would make sense, but of course not. Of course not. Of course you do not get enough content to reach level cap with every new season. So they don't have the right to do this. You know, in my book, a company doesn't have the right to force you to level from level 1 every new season if they are not offering you enough content to basically make you reach level cap from level 1 to from whichever level they want you to start from. I don't care. You want me to start from level 1 and reach the level cap of 100 again? Give me content. You know, the thing, you can't just say, oh, we're going to set this rule where you have to start from level 1 every new season, because once your character, any number of characters in a season reaches they reach the end of the season, they get kicked out of the season realm, and they get sent to the so-called eternal realm, and they stay there eternally. They'll never be able to go to any new season. In my book, you can't really do this in an ethical and acceptable, fully acceptable way, unless you give new content that helps the player start from that level, whichever level you want them to start from, level 1, 10, 20, 50, it doesn't matter. Whichever level you want us to start from, you need to give us new, fresh, new content that is enough to help us reach from that level to reach level 100 from that level. From whether it's from level 1, 50, I don't care. Doesn't matter. But you gotta give us fresh new content if that is the rule. But you can't say oh, you play boys and girls, you're going to have to start from level 1 every new season. And here's some measly, pathetic little content for you to level from level 1 to 30, but then you will have to grind your way from 30 to 100 in the same exact content and the same exact dungeons that you were grinding in the previous seasons, in plural, of course, if someone keeps playing from season to season. That is just this is just trolling, and it's just it's like it's a business it's a predatory business model that feeds on the players addicted to the game. It doesn't respect the time of the player. It doesn't respect its player base. It's a business model. It's literally a predatory business model that is seeking addicts. It's not seeking, gamers or players who are having fun with the game. It's bait for addicts, for gaming addicts, for people who get addicted to a game, whether it's Diablo 4 or World of Warcraft or whatever. They are just fishing for addicts, and whoever gets hooked, and convinces him or herself that this is a good thing and it's a good business model and everyone is happy and blah blah blah, then yeah, they will stay. They will keep that business model alive, well and alive as it is, because people are gulping it up and accepting it and not really thinking for themselves, and as I said, thinking about it this way, that this is a predatory business model, and it's basically it's about forcing players to grind, not to experience new content, because it would have been only acceptable if every season came with enough fresh new content that helps you reach from the level they want you to start from to the level cap. But that is not true, because I played in season 2. I experienced all the content. I played the campaign, the original Lilith campaign, and I played the full campaign, obviously, of season 2, the vampire campaign. I played it all, and there isn't remotely enough content in the new season, or in the vampire season. There isn't remotely enough content to help you reach from level 1 to level cap. There just isn't. So yeah, forcing you to start from like a fresh new start every season while not giving you enough content, that is just it's a scummy business model, and I don't know, way of doing things. And unfortunately, it has its proponents, but I suspect that a significant portion of those proponents are just paid employees, to literally people being paid to pander to everything that Blizzard does and defend them, and defend like Blizzard's decisions and all that, and kind of make it seem like their decisions have some sort of popularity, but in reality, as I said, they're probably paid to do it, because I can't I can't see any sane person thinking that is truly an acceptable thing to do, to give you barely enough content every new season for leveling, and basically force you to take anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 of the journey to max to level cap, to basically spend this portion, like either, as I said, 2/3 of your journey, of your leveling journey, or even 3/4 3/4 of your leveling journey, to spend it in the same exact dungeons that you have spent the previous seasons in, grinding and grinding so you can reach level cap. I really can't believe that any gamer in today's world would find this fun or nice, or it's a fresh new start and I like it. Or, I just can't. I can't think of someone really thinking that this is legit, this is good and fun and good. Like genuinely believe that. I don't think anyone really genuinely believes that. So I have a strong suspicion that whoever is defending this business model and style of doing things is being paid to do that. Is being paid to shill and pander. And it's really unfortunate. So anyway, yeah, that's the story of me quitting Diablo 4 recently, and one of the reasons is I got back to WoW and just trying it and stuff. And so far, yeah, I forgot to mention my impressions so far. As I said, I'm very, very, very disappointed with the look of the Drakthir. You know, like, I'm extremely disappointed. The females aren't, you know, cute and attractive like enough, and the males aren't masculine and imposing and, you know, badass enough. Look at this. This is probably a female epoxy, probably, yeah. So this is like, I'm talking about the character, I'm not talking about the player, of course. I'm talking about the character. This is probably supposed to be a female Drakthir, and there just isn't that. There isn't like that much of a difference between my character and her. It just leaves a bad taste in one's mouth, you know, when males, you know, can't relate to a fictional representation of themselves, you know, something masculine, strong, and that sort of thing. And at the same time, when females, you know, can't have something cute and really feminine and stuff. We're both like similar, very way too similar because of the gender and identity agenda being propagated in games nowadays. Yeah, that part really does leave a bad taste in my mouth too. This whole thing, this whole look. Also, another thing I forgot to mention and talk about was this trend. I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly Blizzard is thinking. Are they thinking that they are being inclusive by adding so many like non-glamorous looks? Like, for example, the Kultiran male, especially. I mean, the females are okay, but the males. I mean, these beer bellies, these Kultirans with the beer bellies, and the sort of the overweight look. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre when they added it. I was like, what the hell is Blizzard thinking? Is this what inclusivity is about? You know, you're glamorizing these body shapes and stuff. I'm not saying that, you know, anyone should shame these body weights, but, you know, why isn't there like a sane middle ground? The middle ground, the moderateness that we always had, that we neither shame nor glamorize. You know, basically, when we play games, we are, you know, many of us are practicing escapism. We want to escape real life. We do not want to remember the problems of real life. We do not want to remember how challenging it is to stay fit. We don't want to remember how, how not so presentable we can get when we're unfit. If we get beer bellies or we become overweight or what have you, we don't look very presentable. We don't want to remember these things in games. We want to forget them. We want to escape them. This is why it's called escapism. We're trying to escape real life and live in a fantasy world with alter egos like this, representations, fictional representations of ourselves, sometimes at least. Of course, it depends on how each player does it. Some players, they for example, a male player might create a female player and protagonist. I mean, a female protagonist. I mean, and control her because it's like, he considers it some sort of female company in a way. But then there are other players like myself. You know, we do not want to control a doll, a female doll, or I don't know, a female companion, some sort of virtual companion in our head who's following our direction. That's not how we're thinking of our protagonists. We're more thinking of our protagonists as virtual or fictional representations of ourselves in this fictional world. And that's at least how I think of this character. For example, you know, I'm like immersing myself in the world. I'm saying, okay, if I were a dragonkin, some sort of dragon creature like this, and I looked like this, and I was walking around in this world, you know, what would it feel like? You know, what would I do? What would I say? Kind of like, you know, just living in a fantasy world, escaping real life and living in a fantasy world. That's how I sometimes think of my character, for example. So yeah, I'm not going to create a Coltiran with his beer belly and you know, bad shape, and go like, oh, you know, I want to fantasize about being, you know, an overweight big guy with a beer belly, you know, and have these weird fighting moves and stuff with my beer belly and my imposing height, but at the same time unfit and overweight body shape. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I know some players don't care, but yeah, I was like, you know, what the hell is Blizzard thinking when I saw those, especially those male Kultirans, as I said. And then we have this business now with with these gender fluid sad excuses of Dragonkin. As I said, these definitely don't look like dragons. They look more like raptors and lizards, you know. Unfortunately, so I don't know what to say, man. Other than that, it's just very disappointing. But anyway, I have enough curiosity to play a bit more tomorrow, see how it goes. I mean, I'd probably want to at least finish. I mean, so far, and also regarding the Evoker class, like I haven't talked about this, my impressions of the Evoker class. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I only have four spells, and this spell, it's, I don't know, I think it's a bit gimmicky. Like, okay, it's a new mechanic, but at the same time, I mean, what kind of and it's a very long cooldown too, but also, I mean, what kind of mobs are going to stand? I mean, you can't, like, I'm not sure, like, of course, this is like a starting area, you know, very beginning of the game, so I don't have any frame of reference now, like how the Evoker class plays in Mythic Plus and raiding and stuff. But I have to wonder, like, you know, what kind of mobs in Mythic Plus are going to, I guess in high Mythic, yeah. Because, but the thing is, that this spell, what I'm thinking is that this spell, in any content that where mobs are being one shot, like trash mobs are being one shot, it's just, there's no use for this spell. It's like a new spell, as I say here, like new spell, but and it might look cool, but at the same time, any content where you one shot trash, it's just, you can't use this spell, because no mobs are just gonna stand watch you do this for long enough. And if you're like with others in a dungeon, and as I said, like trash is being one shot, you won't have enough time to charge this up. So I can see it, I guess, being used for high mythic plus, like very like high, like keys that are high enough for you to charge it to level 3. Yeah, to level 3, and then, you know, shoot it, I guess. Yeah, it might be interesting, or it might do like very decent damage then if the mobs are like standing in front of you and not moving, you know, long enough for you to use it. And then the other spells, I don't know. They're I got maybe because I'm just, Diablo 4 is still fresh in my mind, and Diablo 4 has these really impactful combat mechanics, like the barbarian. You can feel the impact, you know, when you do a hammer, when you strike your hammer on the ground, and you know, when you do like these crazy spells, like even the sorcerer, even the mage-like class in Diablo 4, the sorcerer, you can really feel the electricity and the fire. Like when you do ball lightning, there's a build called ball lightning, like, you know, it's like balls of lightning keep circling around your character, and they hurt anyone near you. Like electricity, really, you can feel the electricity almost vibrating the world and the enemies around you. Fire, you can also feel the fire, you know, really burning and puffing and stuff. So yeah, things are impactful. There's impact to combat, in to the mechanics and the combat in Diablo 4, and I just came fresh. I was just playing it like two or 3 days ago. So moving from Diablo 4 with its impactful combat mechanics and effects to World of Warcraft with its like fluffy effects, like, you know, when I do this, it's like nothing. It's like nothing compared. It's like hitting with a tissue paper, like with wet tissue paper, instead of a hammer. Like literally, like I know like people say that as sarcasm or a joke, but I'm not joking. This is really my feeling now. When I compare this effect, oh my god. When I compare this effect with sorcerer or barbarian effects in Diablo 4, it is like this guy here is hitting enemies with wet tissue paper, whereas, you know, in Diablo 4, you're like, barbarians hit enemies with really like a very heavy two-handed hammer, and sorcerers hit enemies with explosions and electricity that just vibrates to the very essence of enemies and stuff. That is the comparison, you know. So this is how it is in Diablo 4, and this here in WoW is like holding wet tissue paper and slapping enemies with it. This is the comparison. So it's just not, it's like unimpactful. It's not impactful, the combat mechanics in WoW. And it's not just about the evoker, it's just generally the game. Like, you know, in World of Warcraft, most effects, most combat effects, maybe some of the possible exceptions that I vaguely remember in World of Warcraft are like maybe the rogue. Some of the rogue attacks have some impact to them. Also warriors, it's warriors to some extent, especially fury warriors in World of Warcraft. Their spells or their attacks and combat mechanics have some sort of impact. You can kind of feel the sound effects have some what's the word? Yeah, have some impact to them. You can feel something. And the same, as I said, goes for the rogue. But yeah, many other classes, the druid, this, and I'm talking about combat here, like not healing. Healing is supposed to be not very impactful. Healing is supposed to be gentle and, you know, soft and fluffy and stuff. I mean, this is at least my own impression. I don't mind, you know, soft effects for healing, because that's what it's supposed to be like. You're mending wounds, you're like being gentle, you're doing something gentle, you're not like harming other enemies. But when it comes to tanking and DPS, I feel like you want, like, you're supposed to feel some sort of impact, hard-hitting hits and things like that, you know. But yeah, but this is just freaking hell, man. Yeah, it's like holding wet tissue paper and flailing it around. It's horrible, horrible, especially when compared to the fresh Diablo 4 experience in my mind. Yeah, so this is like how, from this perspective, and then from the perspective of, I don't know, this is just this spell is very similar to some arcane mage spells. Yeah, it's very similar, and this is even worse than, this is much worse than fire mage effects. This is nothing, you know, this feels very weak. The disintegrate is kind of acceptable, I guess. It's not like awful. It's not though. It's perhaps, you know, one of the better spells. You know, even no, yeah. I mean, it's probably better. It's probably maybe their best. This is acceptable, but as I said, gimmicky and just takes too long. Uh, the disintegrate is maybe just a bit better than the other two, but the other two is just as I said, weak. Not very impactful. And as I said, this is a problem, a general problem with most of the combat in World of Warcraft when compared to the new games. So yeah, I'm not like, I heard some content creators thinking it's like fun and stuff, and I do appreciate I still have more, most probably I still have more spells to take, but you know, 4 spells out of whatever arsenal I'm gonna get, this should give me a good idea about like what to expect later on. And as I said, I'm like, it's a bit meh, you know, a little bit meh that's my impression, at least a little bit meh for me, the effects and the general feel of the spells. So yeah, that's like regarding the evoker class itself, aesthetically and mechanically. But the story and the world, it's probably a step in the right direction. Yeah, at least better, at least better than Shadowlands. At least it's better than Shadowlands. Man, that was a mess. Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious enough to return to the game tomorrow and see how the rest of the evoker starting quest chain and area and story and stuff, and then we'll see how it goes after that. But that's that, guys. Thank you for those who stayed with me. Hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow for the rest of this I don't know, first impressions of the Dragonflight expansion, particularly the Evoker class and the Evoker story line. Until then, stay safe, rational, intelligent, and question almost everything. Please remember our brothers and sisters in Palestine in your good wishes and prayers. Thank you. Peace out.